Hey guys, Seton HVAC here. I've been meaning to show you guys how to make a Pittsburgh seam with just a sheet metal brake. I'm going to go over that with you here today. So if all you have is this $200 brake I got from Harbor Freight, you can make professional looking Pittsburghs and make your fittings properly. Some of the tools you're going to need, obviously your basic tin snips. You need a rubber mallet, rubber hammer. You need your scribes. You need one that'll go past 1 inch. On my brake, I need to be able to scribe 1.5 inches, so you'll need that type of scribe there that's adjustable. You get your basic scribe that goes from 1 inch down to 1/4 for all your basic scribes. Bar fold, a regular hammer, and a screwdriver. These are the basic tools that you'll need to make this Pittsburgh joint for sheet metal transitions, sheet metal rectangular duct. Anytime you want to make a professional finish, and not do what I see some guys do on the internet, where they make just an S lock joint. That doesn't look very good, especially if you're going to leave it exposed. If you're wrapping it, yeah, seal it, wrap it. It doesn't make a bit of a difference. But if you're doing something exposed and you want it to look nice, make a Pittsburgh. It looks the best. Let's grab these tools and let's get started. Okay, guys. Well, let me show you how you start this. So let's do like a real job scenario here. I need a 20.5 by 15.5. I used weird dimensions on purpose to show you that you can do this in the field. I need a 20.5 by 15.5 piece of duct, 12 inches long. So first thing you want to do is you want to figure out, okay, what do I need to do for my stretched out pieces? Now, stretched out pieces means that you are... Okay, I got distracted for a second. So what you want to do is figure out what your stretch outs are. And if you're in the field, you're on a standard 3-foot brake, you're going to have to do it in 4 pieces. Now, pretend this is a weird transition you need for a gas furnace change out or an AC add-on or something. These are just dimensions used to show you the basics. So what you want to do, and I have to do this with my Harbor Freight brake because 1.5 inch Pittsburgh works better. A standard stretch out on a Pittsburgh machine, if you buy one of those $5,000 machines, is 1 inch for the Pittsburgh, and then you're putting a 1/4 inch male in, to go into the Pittsburgh pocket. In my scenario, it's going to be 1.5 inches for the Pittsburgh, and then 1/2 for the male that goes inside the Pittsburgh. So I always like to do the Pittsburgh on the sorry guys, I keep getting distracted by pets and kids and whatnot. Let me know if that makes sense to you. Adding the 1 inch for the I call it the pocket side. It's the side with the 1 inch. It's gonna, or the 1/2 inch. It's gonna get bent up on each side. And then for this one, you want to scribe out your 1.5 inches for your Pittsburgh side, your Pittsburgh seam that you're going to make with just your hands and a brake. It's important to note, you want to only draw your line for the Pittsburgh on the outside because you do all your bends from the outside. The only reason this 1 inch line is here for your duct connection is just so you can notch it from this side. Then you're drawing this line on the other side. You don't need to. And you do this at about I call it a 70 degree, maybe a 60 degree notch that way, and then you notch kind of like that. You get a feel for it as you work with the stuff. Then I'll show you how you cross break it first. Bend this up with just a rubber mallet in your brake. For the most part, mine's kind of tough to do, but I've been able to figure out how to do it. If you have a better brake than what I have, it's gonna be a lot easier for you. I'm just trying to show you how to do it so it can save you from having to buy a Pittsburgh, because they're spendy and not everybody has room for them either. you can take this Harbor Freight brake with you into the field and do all this. So, and the same thing with this side. You're just going to cut it about 70 degree. This one's pretty straightforward. This stays just the way it is, and then you're going to bend these up at a 90 degree. Now, if you're doing a S and drive, obviously, just build the duct first. It's kind of easier, and then just take your bar fold, and then you can bend your drive ears over after you already have this all hammered together and done. Really nice way to make this stuff look professional with minimal tools. Very inexpensive tools at that. So I'll be right back, and I'll show you how to notch this up and build this thing. All right, guys, so we're back here. I'm going to show you how this gets notched. So if you take a look at this real close, so yeah, it's about I'd call it a 75 degrees, 60 to 75. It doesn't matter that much. But that's how you want to notch your corners. So we have our 1.5 here for our, let's turn them the other way. It's a little easier for you to see. And then always put your dimensions, or not dimensions, always put your side that is. So this is our inside, and I said that wrong. So this is our long side. Okay, this is our it's a 20.5 by 15.5. So here's our 20.5 here. There's our 1-inch flange, and then there's our 1/2-inch pocket to go inside the Pittsburgh. So that's how you want it to look before you go over to the brake. Let's look at the other piece. So here's our 15.5 side. So remember I said you want to add 3 inches, so it's 18.5 total. So you got your 1.5 inches here. You have your 1.5 inches on the other side, and then we have our 1 inch. That's for our duct connection. You do whatever you want with this when we get it all put together. If you need to bend drive ears, I showed you how to do that. So, and this is the outside. Okay. So if we flip this over, you don't have your line for your 1.5 inches because we're not bending it on this side. We have it there in case you needed to bend a tweak or something. If it's an offset fitting, we can get into that too if you want to do that on the next video, sheet metal video. But this is how you're going to lay it out. So this is your outside of your shorter side. You're going to make 2 of these. And then you're going to make 2 of these. You're just making 4 sides of a 20.5 by 15.5 inch duct. I think we're ready to head over to the brake. All right, so let's take our first piece over to the brake. This is our short side. It has our Pittsburgh side on it. So let me show you how we put this together. So first thing you want to do is stick the whole piece inside, like so. Put it right up to the line. Okay, see that? And then you want to grab your rubber hammer right here. And all you're going to do is just tap that over. Let me show you. Okay. Then what you do is take your brake and bend it up. Okay. Like that. Okay. So now what you have is you have a piece that's going to hang over a little bit longer than that. That's what you want. That's what gives you your pocket. So then you're going to take your mallet and just hammer that all the way. Now, what you want to do, now my brake's not the best, so I have to flip this over So I have to pull it out of the brake, flip it over, and then all you're going to do is just push your brake down. Just like so. Then you can flip it over and finish it off. So let me show you what you got here. So you have your Pittsburgh seam all the way across now. For some reason that one didn't do real straight for me. But the finished product will look fine. It'll be a little bit off. Let's see if we can do better on the other side. So stick that over. Make sure you're on the line. Rubber mallet time. Bend it all the way over as far as you can. Then you're going to take your brake, bend it up, take your mallet again, and lay that down all the way as far as you can. Okay, that looks a lot more even that time. I just probably was in a rush on the first one. Then flip it around. Stick that end in and hammer it down. Now you have a perfect Pittsburgh all the way across. See that? So now that piece is prepped. You do this twice and you have two sides to your fitting. Let's go grab the other side and let's make the pocket side. Okay, so now we have the pocket side here. This is the part that goes inside the Pittsburgh. We got our 1/2 inch there. Let's bring it over to the brake and let's show you how that's done. We don't need that anymore for this video purpose anyway. So let's go over. One thing I didn't show you is the cross braking, so let's do that first. So all you do is you meet your intersection on the one side of your two dimensions, your 1/2 and your 1, and then you bring your other side over there, and then just give it a little bit of a bend with your brake, and then do the opposite corners, and you just put an X in it. What this does is stiffens the duct up so it doesn't tin can make noise when the blower of the equipment comes on. So same thing, tighten it down, and then just give it a little bend and give it a little crease. And you see what that looks like, just like so. Then all you're going to have to do on this piece is just bend your two ends up 90 degrees. Really simple. You can do it by just putting that in. You can slide it all the way. It doesn't really matter. For ease of video, I'll just slide the whole thing in and put it on the 1/2 inch. Like so, and then just go to 90 degrees with your brake. Pull it out, and then you get your other side on the line there. Bring your brake down, and then you're just going to bring the whole thing up 90 degrees. So, you see that? 90 degrees on both sides. That's your 1/2 inch. Let's go back over the table for some assembly. Okay, so we're back for some assembly. So all you're going to do is take your Pittsburgh side there. You got two of these, and all you do is put your 1/2 inch inside of there, like so, and then take your regular hammer. And you're just going to beat that over. All right, guys, so here's the finished product of the Pittsburgh. So you can see, I mean, it's basically what a sheet metal shop would do. One thing I did do wrong, I'm not used to doing this on video, is I should have crimped that down more in the brake, the actual Pittsburgh itself. Made my joint kind of loose, and I didn't cross brake that side, but you get the gist of it. You want to cross brake all 4 sides. You're gonna do this in 4 pieces. Key points are, you know, add 1.5 inches to each side on your Pittsburgh side, add 1/2 on your pocket side, which is what I call it. Depending on the brake you have, if you want to get a $200 brake like I have, you can get this done. You know, cinch that down more because it's kind of loose. But you'll have professional fittings done in the field that you know, make you look like you got a nice sheet metal shop. Even if you're a one-man band like me. You can also, you know, I always stock a little acetone for shining up my metal. Just make sure you only use it on the outside because you don't want it in the airstream. But, you know, something that gets your Sharpie off of there, polishes your duct up, makes it look really nice. I think it looks good. I mean, it looks a lot better than doing an S-lock slip joint, or what I've done normally is just a half joint, put in it, and then I have to screw it together. But I think the screws look tacky, and this will seal up 100% too if you do it right. So you know, let me know in the comments if you got something better that you do. Doubtful, because I don't see anybody doing these field Pittsburghs with just the brake in the field. I think it's the best way to do your joints, and you'll have quality looking work. And it'll look good. If you screw up a side, remake it. It only takes, you know, it takes 10 minutes to remake a piece of metal. Don't rush it. Make it look good. You know, you're installing something that might be there 15 or 20 years, or longer. So make it look good. And oh, other thing I wanted to mention too is I always like to use at least 24 gauge metal for my fittings. It just, you know, the cross brake helps, but sometimes even with 26 gauge metal with a cross brake, you still might get a little tin canning, especially with larger fittings. So you know, it's always a good rule of thumb is use 24 gauge. It costs about $5 more a roll, depending on where you buy it from, maybe 10, but it's well worth that extra cost for eliminating issues that you might have with lighter gauge metal. And some of the distributors that you buy sheet metal from will give you ductwork that is not up to snuff as far as the gauge of the metal and the quality of how it's put together. You'll fight some of it. So I like to build my own stuff if I can. Obviously, stock rectangular duct and whatnot, I have to buy it from it's just I don't have a shop to build stuff in. That can mass produce ductwork. So, but as far as singular transitions and whatnot, you know, I can load up that little 3-foot brake. I can load up a couple rolls of metal. You know, bring my S-lock and drive for connecting everything. I have a couple of plastic sawhorses and a piece of plywood I can load in my truck too, to make myself a little table. I usually just use the old furnace that I pulled out, or the old air handler that I pulled out for a table, and it works pretty good. You know, I can get stuff done. It's fun once you get really good at it, because you're able to save yourself some time too. I don't have to call fittings into a sheet metal shop. I can just go to the job, get the whole thing done, all by myself, which is what I've been doing for almost 30 years now. Well, probably 25 of it building my own sheet metal fittings. Let me know if you liked the video. I appreciate it if you'd subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Hopefully you learned something here.